Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Gale here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Season 5 video. And today, we are on Twitter to take a look at some of the reactions to episode 12 and 13, which is, of course, going to be dropping next week. But in Japan, they did do an early screening for the two episodes at various places. I think there's only been airings in two places at this moment in time. I think they're going to be doing more over the next couple of weeks, including, of course, episode 14 from a certain week onwards. So we are going to be getting early reactions to, of course, episodes 12 and 13 today. So we're going to take a look at some of those on Twitter. We're going to check out what happened, of course, if there was any mention of anything in regards to, of course, the upcoming episodes, because what they tend to do right at these screenings is they tend to do a little bit of an interaction thing with, of course, a lot of the voice actors and actresses. Some of them come over to obviously talk to the audience and the viewers coming to watch the episodes, right? So for example, I think today they had Shizuka-san, who is of course the voice actress of Seer, right? Ishigami-san, I think it is, more so. I think that's her last name, if I'm not mistaken. And Hikasa-san, the voice actress for Freya. So they had both of them there, of course, to talk about the episode and just generally talk about the production as well. And also you'll have the producer as well of the of Danmachi also there as well. So it gives them a good opportunity to talk about the struggles, of course, of the production of the season, their thoughts on the upcoming episodes and so on and so forth, and the entire season as a whole. So definitely looking forward to seeing if there's any comments about the episodes themselves. Take a look at if the episodes are actually any good, first and foremost, of course, right? And yeah, we'll have a look and see if the response is positive or negative. Primarily, that's what we're here to do. So of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, remember to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about the episode reactions. Do you guys think you trust them? Because of course to be fair, episode 1 and 2 were pretty good, right? When Danmachi season 5 started, episodes 1 and 2 were very good. And I remember we took a look at the reactions from the Japanese audience for episode 2. Episode 1 was also received extremely well at New York's Comic-Con, I think it was, or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but there was a convention in New York where they aired the first episode of Danmachi Season 5 to the, international audience, and it was received very well. Episode 2 was, of course, received very well. And to be fair, episodes 1 and 2 were pretty good. It was just as we got deeper into the season with episode 9 and 11, I think, being the critical points for a lot of people, that's where we started to notice some issues with the season, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, if the response is positive, then fantastic. I think we're going to be in for a very nice treatment come next Friday. But let's take a look. Or I say next Friday, this upcoming Friday, of course, right? So let's take a look. Let's quickly read this first. Danmachi Season 5, The Goddess of Fertility, Faction War Screening. Thank you to everyone who came. Please post your thoughts while being mindful of spoilers. So again, yeah, keep that in mind. There's going to be spoilers potentially in this one. Let's try and see if we can navigate our way through it. But of course, be wary that there might be spoilers. You know how people can be on the internet. The next screening will be held in Osaka and Nagoya on Saturday, February 15th. Okay, so we're 2 weeks, about a week and a half away from that one. So more than enough time for that. Still more than enough time away from that. But yeah, let's take a look and see if there's any response from people in that sense. It was exactly what I expected, or rather it exceeded my expectations in scale and quality and made me cry. Hey, that is very impressive. That is very impressive. The animation quality is good, but the ending is hard to understand. So this is more so on, I guess, the storytelling aspect, the adaptation from the light novel to the anime. So that's a bit of a concern, of course, right? Because, this is something we are going to have to, dissect and talk about, of course, right? As somebody who's read the light novels, I'll do my best to, of course, explain it to you guys on how the ending comes to be and if there is any struggles, of course, on that front, right? But this is a concern I think we're going to have in this season, generally speaking. We knew that with the episode count that it was, and it is going to be a struggle for them to adapt the whole thing in the 15 episodes. I still maintain I don't understand why they thought that the 15 episode count was the right decision in the first place from every aspect, every facet of the decision committee, I suppose, be it JC staff, Warner Bros, SB Creative, Fujino Mori. We pinpoint all 4 of these as the culprits. Let's call them the culprits, the villains of this arc. But no, seriously, at the end of the day, there's got to be a lot of decisions that need to be made behind the scenes. Monetary decisions, time slot decisions, everything. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, right? Mainly it comes down to money and time, right? Of course, that's the biggest issues when it comes to, of course, trying to get the perfect adaptation going. And you have to understand as well that from a perspective of the at the end of the day, yeah, people tend to forget this, okay? People tend to forget this, and I'll explain it again. The anime doesn't really generate them the revenue directly. Now, allow me to explain this. What the anime is it's a promotional tool at the end of the day. What it is it promotes the franchise to a higher level, to where you're willing to buy the merchandise and also the source material more so, because that's where they generate more money. Because at the end of the day, you're selling the TV shows, and you're going to be able to then you watch these TV shows, right? You watch these anime shows. What you're getting the money out of is mainly adverts and promotional materials that go alongside with it, the ad slots. And that's where you could also argue and say, the opening and ending, there's a reason why they're still there, because of ads and stuff, right? Same thing with, of course, even on Crunchyroll and so on and so forth. The way you buy and you give money to these companies is by, of course, the whole idea of selling ads and stuff like that as well. So it's a bit tricky in that sense to kind of say the anime is making them money, because the anime is probably making them break even at most, and that's where I guess they're trying to maybe create a profit there, or they feel like they're not getting their return on investment. But this is where I will also put a blame on the likes of Warner Bros, SP Creative, and the higher ups, not JC staff in particular here, but the people running the franchise. Why don't we have more merch for Danmachi? I know we're getting 3 new figures. We're getting a Ryu, Eyes, and Hestia figure. A Ryu, I understand with what the upcoming episode is going to be. Why don't we have a Freya figure? Why don't we have a Belle figure from the season? Why don't we have an Otaro figure? Like, I get that they may think that they may not sell well, but the only way you're going to sell well is if you're showing it to the people in terms of the anime, and you show them the anime. Okay, now people are excited, people want these characters, make them into the product, give us a product that people will want to buy. I know so many people out there in the community, in the Danmachi community especially, who are more than willing and more than able to buy these merchandises if they were provided them. So that's something they kind of need to do, in all honesty. Of course, this is somebody asking for it. Let's take a look at this one. I was impressed with episodes 12 and 13, which were of higher quality than I expected. Episode 12 in particular was the best. So it's good that they've taken the opportunity to actually, work on the episodes. It does seem like they've taken the time to do so, and it does seem like we're going to be seeing a benefit of it. Of course, in my reaction, I know a lot of you guys felt like the animation was way better, and even I said it was quite a bit better. It felt a little bit better than the previous episodes. Compared to episode 11, it was definitely way better for sure, but I'm talking about the other episodes. It was definitely as good, if not a little bit better than those episodes as well. So I'm very, very happy with the direction they're going in. It does seem like they've improved upon it. The other thing I wanted to mention as well in regards to that PV is that they tend to be a bit misleading at times. So I wanted to keep that in mind when you're obviously taking a look at these episodes and stuff like that, is that you have to be careful with watching the PVs, because PVs can be misleading. They tend to take the best scenes and be put into the trailer, or sometimes the PVs are made completely on their own, like the best of the best is put onto that work, and they produce the best PV they can, and the animations for the PV only, and then the episodes are completely different. So just keep that in mind, of course. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at this post from Kikirara 1357. I cried because I had been living to see these 12 episodes since I heard the decision to make the 5th episode. Thank you very much. So somebody was very excited to see the 12th episodes. After that, I'll just relax and watch it until the end. Apparently episode 13 was just completed the other day, so episode 14 hasn't been completed yet. Oh, so that's probably the reason why we also have that 3-week break, so that they can complete 14 and 15 in that duration as well. So it seems like episode 14 is not done yet. That's a good insight in that sense. That's a very good insight in terms of how the development has gone. Again, this is why I said I think they should have done it at the end of March. I knew I was right in what I said earlier on in the announcement of when Danmachi was coming back. I said it. I told people this should not be coming back this soon. I think it should be better. It would have been better if it had been saved until end of March, because then what you can do, and I know people will say, well, they have to fulfill obligations and stuff like that, and I agree. From a business standpoint, they probably are trying to fulfill obligations. They probably could only get the time slots from this season, but I would like to reiterate, I think they could have done a much better job if they had been willing to, splurge the cash. And I know also JC Staff has other projects and so on and so forth. We all know this. We've discussed this previously. I know there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes when it comes to anime studios and stuff, but I still maintain that I personally, if I had the choice in an ideal world, would have said, stay and wait till end of March. And that way we can get a much more polished last 4 episodes. This obviously seems like they're taking their time with it nonetheless, right? Of course, that this 3-week break for 14 and 15 is going to be good for them as well, right? But again, imagine if we had been just allowed to wait another month, right? Another month, a month and a half. Arguably, it would have been way better as well in that sense. And I know as a content creator, I mean, I love the fact that we're going to be getting more Danmachi in the next couple of weeks. Don't get me wrong. As a content creator, I love the fact that we're going to be getting more stuff there. It's going to be very exciting. But at the same time, I'm here also like, I wish they'd taken a bit more time, because we would have been able to, have a little bit more done here. All right. It was worth postponing Danmachi. Episode 12, sobbing could be heard everywhere, and the battles were super. Okay, they were crying. Damn. Episode 13, all I can say is thank you for saying it was completed a few days ago. That's crazy. Okay, that's a concern, because if they feel that way in terms of episode 13 and in terms of I love how straightforward it is. All I can say is thank you for saying it was completed a few days ago. That's a bit of a concern. If it was only completed a few days ago and they're saying that is okay, because that could be interpreted in 2 ways, right? I think it's interpreted in one way, in that thank you for telling us it was completed only a few days ago, because it feels incomplete, or it feels very, not incomplete, but like it doesn't feel great, but it's understandable because it's like, okay, you only just finished it now. Man, that's crazy, because they had a month and a half, and they probably must have had to redo a lot of episode 12 and then episode 13. Bro, they must have been on a fucking schedule then, if it was this much of a struggle to do episode 12 and 13 in a month and a half, and episode 14 is not even done yet. I mean, okay, so at least we know to look forward to episode 12. Episode 13 we'll have to talk about and discuss. I think we're gonna have to talk about it and discuss it, because that is a bit of a concern. Honestly, it is a little bit of a concern if that is the reactions to this. Let's take a look and see if there's anything else here. Danmachi season 5 war screening. The new episode was interesting, and Hyochi's talk was quite serious. I thought I would look at an autograph panel from a distance, but they made time for me to take photos, which I was grateful for. Nice. That's good stuff. That's good stuff, of course, right? That's very, very nice. Let's take a look and see if there's any other thingies that we can take a look at. Any other tags or something, maybe. The problem is a lot of the tags for Danmachi are very questionable in terms of what people post, because you know how people can be, right? You know how people can be. Let me see if I can do maybe 12 and 13. If I do 12, what do I get if I do 12? Because 12 might give me, because people will talk about episode 12 specifically and stuff like that, right? So let's see, is there anything that we can see in terms of this? Because of course, some people are doing catch-up marathons. That's cool. I'm glad that people are doing like full marathons for it and stuff, because that way it at least brings back interest into the series, especially after taking this long break and everything. I think that's very, very good in that sense. It doesn't seem like we have any other reactions as far as I can tell, but let me take a look at latest and see if there's anything there, maybe, because we might be able to see something in the latest section, because people will be talking about it in the last couple of days and stuff, right? Number 12 is about to start. Okay, so this is somebody who's also like looking forward to it and just binge watching. That's something I might do as well if I have the time in the next couple of days, is just rewatch all of the episodes, right? All right, we have another person here talking about something. I went to the screening of Danmachi's Faction Wars. It was shocking, moving, and amazing. As always, as the end draws near, I want to see more, but I don't want to. And as always, Danmachi really suits the big screen. They should definitely screen every episode on the big screen, lol. Yeah, I think a lot of people are very much in the situation of like they really, really like the airing of the screening, basically. Danmachi Season 5, The Goddess of Fertility. I went to a screening of Faction Wars. I wanted to prepare in advance, but I didn't have time, so I'm going to watch it now and savor it. That being said, it still feels like a near-death battle, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it all ends. It was great to hear the various behind-the-scenes stories during the talk. Yeah, I think a lot of people really liked the episode and stuff. It does seem like it's been pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it as well. It seems like everybody's pretty happy with it. And everybody is glad about it, in all honesty. I think it's good. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the episodes for myself, and I know everybody else is as well. Yeah, it looks I'm very excited. I am very, very excited. I went to the screening of Danmachi Season 5 episodes 10 to 13. 12 and 13 are of the quality expected. It was the most elaborate. It was an amazing video that conveyed the level of fighting has increased, and I was really moved. I'm also very satisfied to have had the opportunity to hear Ishigami and San and Hikasa-san's precious stories as well. So yeah, it seems like a lot of people are positive on the screening and stuff. The quality was very good as well. So yeah, I'm glad about that. Outside of that one tweet that was quite concerning, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, of course, right? So let's take a look and see what ends up happening. That was quite funny. Apparently, this person's boss was told them to start reading Astrea Record 1, 2, and 3. That's funny. That is so funny. All right, that's great. That is awesome. That is awesome that even the bosses of employees are telling them to read Astrea Record. That's fantastic. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you looking for episode 12 and 13 after the reactions? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.